3 new fighters, a new esports competition, and a new online mode are all available now for EA Sports UFC 2. Check out the details. On Thursday, EA Sports UFC 2 did a fairly large update. It was a little over a gig. They added 3 fighters. Cyborg Justino was added. She's the biggest name. You also have Albert Tumenov and Valentina Shevchenko. They're adding new fighters, obviously, that are supposed to, or they're going to be fighting in cards that are coming up soon or recently passed. Albert Tumenov is 24 years old. He's one of the hottest prospects in MMA, even though he did just get dominated by Gunnar Nelson at UFC Rotterdam on Sunday. He's still a real deal, and he's a great addition to the roster. Valentina Shevchenko was just announced as the opponent for Holly Holm in her return to the octagon, and that's going to take place at UFC on Fox 20 on July 23rd in Chicago, and I hope to actually be on hand for that event. Last but certainly not least is Cyborg Justino, a longtime rival of Ronda Rousey, even though the two have never fought. Cyborg's going to be making her UFC debut on Saturday at UFC 198 on the same card with Fabricio Verdum and Stipe Miocic. So 3 pretty solid additions there. People are always talking about how losses seem to correspond with being added to EA Sports UFC, the original version. So we'll see if that happens now, because this is really one of the first major additions. We saw Patrick Cote and Luis Smoka added previously, and actually Patrick Cote, I believe, lost his fight afterwards. So it's a little shaky there, but nonetheless, like I said, from a gaming standpoint, it's definitely a good addition to the roster. Also, we will see a gameplay update as well. Now, I left the majority of the details there in the description, so you make sure you check that to see everything. But we saw there's going to be a third transition added to the submissive fighter doing the back sitting position. And also, your block will no longer go back up if you miss a parry. So, they've already done some things to the parry to make it where you can't just kind of sit on it. So now this is even another thing that's being done to the gameplay to try to make it more realistic. So like I said, there's a couple other details. Check those out in the description as well. And you can also see the link to the EASports.com story that talks about all of these changes as well in the description. We also see a new online mode. I'll give EA UFC credit to developers there in EA Canada. Even with the original version and this one, these guys, they never stop. I mean, they keep coming with new updates. They did it the last release, and it looks like they're setting that same precedence here. It's called Live Competition, and what it is a one-on-one online mode where you're fighting with fighters who are going to be fighting on the upcoming card. So UFC 198 is the card that this new mode is going to debut alongside or running almost parallel with. So essentially what happens is they're taking each fighter and they're leveling out their ratings. So they're going to be made even, but you're able to customize your fighter with the use of up to 5 perks. So you add, a ground and pound perk, or you add a perk that allows you to get the one-punch stuns easier. Whichever one best fits your style, you're going to have an option to give the fighter that particular perk. So it's basically created to assure competitive balance across the board. So if there's a big mismatch on one of these cards coming up, obviously the person who has the weaker fighter is going to be at a grave disadvantage. Now you might say, why are they trying to do this to make everything fair? Well, it's because this mode, Live Competition, is going to be the centerpiece of a new esports venture that EA UFC 2 is going to be going after. Everybody's getting into esports, and there's a reason. This is a booming, huge business. Madden's doing it, NBA 2K's doing it, and now EA Sports UFC 2 as well. So essentially, joining in on the live competition mode automatically includes you in the tournament, so to speak, similar to the salary ranked beta and draft champions tournaments that Madden did. Just playing online, just competing. Even that's what 2K did as well. Just competing in it is in just period from your home automatically includes you in this tournament. You're trying to essentially get to the top of the leaderboard. The higher you get on the leaderboard, the better chance you get to do what? To get invited to the grand finale or the grand final at the UFC Fan Export on July 8th. If you make it there, the winner will receive $10,000. Now, it's obviously not the same type of prize as you would see at the international playing Dota or for a League of Legends or a Hearthstone tournament or game or event. But $10,000 is pretty sweet to be punching somebody virtually in EA Sports UFC 2. And not to mention your whole qualifying aspect takes place at home. So it's not too bad. So like I said, everybody is getting into esports, and man, even as a gamer, if you're not into it, you're probably gonna have to think about it, because that is absolutely the wave of the future. That's all I got for you guys today. If you like this information and you want to continue to see news and reaction on the hottest things going on in sports video games, hit that subscribe button and make sure you click into me for sure. If you like this video, don't hesitate to hit that like button. I would absolutely appreciate it. God bless. Peace.